Hello, and a very warm welcome once again on Neelam Saxena's page. Welcome once again to the 11th session of the International Poetry Meet on the lady herself who's facilitating the event today, Neelam Saxena. A poet is before anything else, a person who's passionately in love with language, said W.H. Auden. So keeping the language love, the love of poetry in our hearts, let me now introduce the talented panelists who are present on this platform today. Can we all give ourselves and the viewers who are joining in a big hand? I would like to continue the session and take this opportunity to first of all introduce our panelist who is from Germany but resides in Italy, our lovely lady Antje Stehn. She's a visual artist, a poet, art curator, member of German Pen. Since 1980, she has been showing her artwork in international exhibitions around Europe and the US. Since 2014, she has been organizing poetic artistic performances. She's part of the international collective Poetry is My Passion. She's the co-editor of the poetry magazine Tam Tam Bam Bam. Los Evolucionistas, I hope I said it correctly, and Tirandas. She is a member of the scientific committee of the Piccolo Museo della Poesia of Piacenza, Italy. Her poems are translated into 10 different languages. Since 2020, she's curating the art poetry project, Rucksack, a global poetry patchwork, which involves more than 250 international poets. Antje, I welcome you to this platform with a very warm heart.
Thank you very much.
Glad to have you on Neelam's page. Our page. Neelam is going to be angry if I say her page. She insists it's our page. Let me now move on with the introductions, and it is my pleasure and an honor to introduce my very good friend from Italy, who is at present residing in Tunisia, Angelo Rizzi. He has obtained a degree in Arabic language, also in Italian language, on language, culture, and literature. This polyglot poet composed his poems in Arabic, Spanish, Italian, and French. He attended a UNESCO Congress in 2006 on dialogue between nations, and he has received more than 50 literary prizes and awards. He is the winner of the prestigious Northside World Prize in 2004. He has participated in various international poetry meetings in Italy and Cuba, France, Romania, Tunisia, Brazil, India. And this one is added to his testimonials now. The Academia de Letras Alpa 21 Brazil named him the International Correspondent Academician in 2015. He has published 25 collections of poems and poetic prose. The Poetic Forum motivational strips, along with Gujarat Sahitya Academy, awarded him in 2020 as the Ambassador of Literature for the Indian Independence Day Literary Honours 2020. He has been awarded by the World Prize of Literary Excellence by UHE Peru, Cesar Valio World Prize for Artistic Excellence again in 2020. So, my dear friend, he has not told something in his intro here is that he is an amazing painter and artist too. Welcome, Angelo.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me.
Because you know Arabic, I'm going to say, Angelo, marhaba.
Marhaba.
All right. And one of the most interesting panelists I ever met on Neelam's page is whom I'm going to introduce very soon. Our dear friend Kiran Bhat, who joins us from Joburg right now. is an Indian-American author. Neelam, do you think Kiran is frozen? Is he with us?
Yeah, he's frozen. He's
All right.
frozen.
So, shall I move and just wait for him to come back so that we can introduce him when he's able to hear?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So, yeah, he may come back. Okay.
He's back.
He's back. Oh,
Hello.
Kiran is back here.
Perfectly
Welcome
excellent.
once again.
Hello. I
Hi,
apologize. This
Kiran.
internet.
Yeah, no problem. We know how it is. So, once again, Kiran, welcome once again to our page, which we call the Neelam Saxena page. And I love the way this panelist of ours is smiling, bubbling with energy. So, Kiran Bhat is an Indian American author, traveler, and a polyglot. He's known as the author of We of the Forsaken World, but has published books in 5 different languages and has had his writing published in journals such as the Kenyan Review, the Southern Humanities Review, and the 3 a.m. magazine, the Chakkar, I love this word, and many other places. He has been to 140 countries, lived in 25 places, speaks 12 languages, and he lives in Johannesburg currently. So, welcome, Kiran, once again. It's a pleasure to meet my new friends right now. And now it's my turn to introduce my very dear, energetic, lovely friend who shows the world laughter is indeed a medication. Neelam Chandra, a 1992 batch IRSEE officer and a best-selling author, has authored 5 novels, 1 novella, 7 short story poetry collections, 34 poetry collections, and 14 children's books. She holds a record with the Limca book for 2015 for being the author having the highest number of publications in a year in English and Hindi both. She is the recipient of the prize in poetry contest organized by the American Embassy and in the National Poetry Contest organized by Poetry Council of India 2016. Neelam, I will
Yes.
sip some water because I'm losing my breath.
Let me sip it with you and say cheers. Cheers.
Cheers, my friend. Her introduction is not yet over, so a few more lines. She has been the recipient of the Sohan Lal Dwivedi Puraskar for Children's Literature by the Maharashtra State Academy for 2018, Humanity International Women Achiever Awards 2018, the Bharat Nirman Literary Award for 2017, the Premchand Award by the Ministry of Railways, Ravindranath Tagore International Poetry Award, and the most important, and I feel so elated and proud when I tell this in every introduction that I am sharing the platform with her, she was listed in the Forbes as one of the 78 most popular authors in the country in 2014. Neelam, love you, my friend.
Love you too. And it is my turn to introduce my friend Nivedita, whom I call Naughty Nivi. So, Nivedita Roy is a bilingual poetess and author. Presently, she teaches in an American curriculum school in the Kingdom of Bahrain. She has 2 solo publications, one in English and one in Hindi, titled Gallery the Heart and Komal Ehsas, both of which I've read. She has also co-authored 7 anthologies. She's the recipient of Indian Independence Day Literary Honors 2021 by Motivational Strips and Gujarat Sahitya Academy. She's the moderator for the Bahrain Office for Motivational Strips. And of course, she's one of the admins of page Neelam Saxena. And we are very proud to have her. It's a privilege to have her.
Oh, so sweet. Thank you so much, Neelam, for those kind words. So, without much ado, shall we all, with the permission of those lovely panelists that I have the honor of sharing the stage with, to start with our round 1? Are you all ready, my friends?
Ready?
I would, okay, Angelo. I would like to invite Antje to recite her first poem, which is titled Amalgam. Welcome, Antje, to the stage.
Thank you very much. Yes, this poem is called Amalgam, and it's referred to the city I'm in now, which is Milan. It's a very dynamic city, and there are people from all the parts of the world, Europe, and none of the inhabitants is real, genuine Milanese, born here, because it's a very new city, very, very fast city. And what's interesting, we all speak Italian here, but we all have different cultures of time. There are people from South Italy, North Italy, from North Europe. So there's different time livings, and they come to a clash in the city. And sometimes it's like a scattered thermometer, no, from which the mercury balls squirt all over. No, this is a little bit the atmosphere of the city, of the fashion, of the furniture fairs, and so on. So my poems goes like this: Amalgam. I would like to hang from a gutter like a big fat raindrop, instead of moving along whistling with envy for the slow sinkers who let their gaze roam down the soft hairy forearm. My body is always in a hurry. I eat fast, I speak fast, I sing fast. I run through dry out riverbeds between endless walking legs. Goats, wild horses, tents set up in the morning and dismantled in the evening, with small wounds left by the pecks in the ground, in the simmering undergrowth, thousands of pending spouts. To understand all this in a single thought, that's the taste of rhubarb on a rough tongue. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
Beautiful, Antje. Beautiful.
Wonderful, wonderful, Auntie.
Thank you very much.
So now I would like to invite and welcome my dear friend Angelo to recite his poem titled Transmutation. Welcome.
It's a very short poem, Transmutation. Habits chasing me since years are coming to a death end. I would like them to transmute, adapting to inevitable changes. Meanwhile, this night takes a seductive shape of tenderness, laying words on a sheet, feeling lasts longer, emotions expresses more freely thoughts, until the choral words reaches a deep, mysterious ecstasy.
Wow. I love the way this evening is going from amalgam to transmutation. And now let's see what Kiran is bringing to the table. A very warm welcome, Kiran. I
Thank
invite you to recite your first poem with us, friend.
I have to warn you, it's very different what the other two did. But
Okay.
But I want to say thank you to everyone. Elrigu namaskara as well, as we would say in Kannada, which some of
Yes.
you understand. And
Namaskara.
namaskara. Do you know Kannada? Anyways, maybe I'll say it another day. But so I wanted to show a showcase of a certain poem that will be published in a collection that's coming out next year out of a poetry press called Red River. It's I wrote 3 poetry suites in Spanish, Mandarin, and Turkish, and I want to showcase the ones in Mandarin and Spanish. The one in Spanish is an autobiography. It's 30 years of my life, each poem just a fragment of what my life was. So today
Wonderful.
I want to show, thank you, I want to show 2015, which was the year that I had to go to relearn Kannada, my mother tongue, because I was raised in the US. So I had to do extra effort to speak it as decently as I do now. 2015. And I want to read this as well because this is primarily for an Indian audience. And I think that, they're reading. So I wanted it to be something that hopefully people will relate to. I came back to Mysore, not to visit, as I did since I was a 6-year-old boy, visiting blossoms with my akka, playing video games with my cousins in Mangalore, but to learn my mother tongue, which I never knew how to speak well. One day an uncle took me to the park. I was eager to practice. I threw whatever words of the language I knew. He went up to a friend of his and asked him if he could listen to me and understand me. One day I went with my driver to the sugarcane shop. No one understood what I said. My grandmother was frustrated. She told me to stop embarrassing her. I got so mad that day, the house shook with my yelling. Afterwards, I was so angry, I locked the door to my room and refused to come out. My hair grayed ever yet, just like my nails. I struggled for my language. I lost hair over my language. I ate my ego for my language. I don't think it was worth it, but a part of me changed, and I don't know why. Because no one was nice, and no one wanted to do what I did. But ever since then, I have to go to India each and every year, like it's my real country, not the USA. I don't feel like a native. I don't always feel comfortable. I probably stand out sometimes like a foreigner. Somehow I'm still chained to it. There's more to it than racial appearance. There's custom, language, family. It is to be nothing and to be everything, to be someone and no one, to have it always recorded on my tongue, this contradiction. That I was born in the USA, but India is my country.
Wow, Kiran. I relate to you, my friend, because I am also residing in a different country. And then, as I was born Indian, but I know those feelings, you know.
I know, NRI
Sometimes
probably.
you wonder, yeah. Thank you.
No.
Thank you so much. I know exactly what you said. I hear it clearly. Thank you so much, Kiran, for bringing a different poem 2015. And I wish you all the best for your new project that you're looking forward to.
Thank you. Very nice.
And now, some recitation that always makes me so happy, so ready to listen, is my dear friend Neelam. So Neelam, welcome on your own platform. And please recite your first poem titled
Again,
Fear.
you're going to get scolded, you know.
Oh! Welcome, Neelam.
Thank you. So, well, during last 1.5 years, we've been, the entire world has been hit by Corona.
Mm-hmm.
But more than Corona, there's also some fear factor which has come in. So, this poem is more about that, and it is titled Fear.
Welcome.
It's more of a story written in the form of a poem. Fear caught her legs like some leech and stuck there, sucking her blood. She panicked. She ran helter skelter. Her heart thumped. The blood in her arteries turned blue. Her hair was unruffled. Her lips turned purple. Her hand shivered. The leech! The leech! She just couldn't remove that leech. She expected someone to come and help her eliminate the leech. But no one came knocking. After all, the times were tough and nobody went to anybody's house. Corona was spreading fast. An old lady that she was, she had no one to help her out, nobody to explain what this corona meant. She had never liked watching television, and newspapers had stopped coming. She stopped eating. She was a nervous wreck. She thought that she ran a high temperature. She thought she was running out of breath. She sat with her head over her knees. She couldn't even shed tears. She was afraid, very, very fearful. Her children in a foreign land tried to reach her out on her telephone, which she wasn't ready to pick. Helpless, they felt. But what was it they could do? Finally, they approached a volunteers group who rushed to her house. They kept knocking, knocking, and knocking, but she refused to open the door, thinking that it was Corona calling. Finally, they pushed open the door, only to find a frail body lying like a log of wood near the wall. It wasn't Corona that had killed her, it was just the fear, the leech called fear. Thank you.
Wow, Neelam. Very heart touching. And the truth. So true.
So, may I now invite the naughty Nivi to recite her poem?
Yes, thank you. Thank you. My poem today is anything but naughty. I'm continuing from what you took, a very, very pertinent topic that keeps coming to us, which is saying fear. So I'm going to talk about how silence sometimes can be a deafening. So my poem's title, The Silence is Deafening. Injustice is spilling over. Morals are even lower. The cowards hide under. Those who could choose to speak, their silence is deafening. Illogical is acceptable. Truth is debatable. Lies are freely available. Oh, the believers of lies, your silence is deafening. Create a narrative that makes a loud noise, which consistently curbs innocent voice. Those who pretend not to hear, your silence is deafening. While some live in fear, some bear a harsh tear, and there is no one to hear, then silence is deafening. The monster is raising its head, the tormentor is on the prowl, the beasts gather to raise hell. Still, the silence is deafening? Thank you, my friends.
Very touching and very nice poem.
Thank you. So, Neelam, I would now like to request you to take a few comments, and I also would like to thank the viewers at this moment who joined us. And then once you read a few of the comments, we will proceed with the next round, my friend.
I have been highlighting the comments.
Okay, just something
Everybody,
generally, like a summary or something.
yeah, everybody has been praising the panelists, and some have said wow, some have said catchy, and Santosh Bakaya, who is herself a wonderful poet, has said nice to hear the beautiful, meaningful poems. Then she has added, yes, Neelam, that all pervasive fear will always be there, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And she has said very touching poem. Then she said silence can be pretty deafening. And we have An- Ankur- Ankurtia Khajanchi saying, wonderful poem, Nivedita ma'am, silence is deafening.
All
So,
right. Okay,
and
and
there were a lot of vows and beautiful and touching.
touching
So,
comments.
we
Yeah.
thank all the viewers who have joined us and hope you will keep joining us. So, over to Nivedita for the second round.
Thank you so much, Neelam, for sharing. And once again, on behalf of all the panelists, I would like to thank all the viewers for the wonderful comments. And also, I must say that Neelam and Kiran and Angelo and Antje will agree that I think this is one of those memorable sessions where each poem is telling something different. So I would like to just say something that Khalil Gibran said. Poetry is a deal of joy and pain and wonder with a dash of the dictionary. Poetry is a deal of joy and pain and wonder with a dash of the dictionary. And here it is once again my honor and my privilege to invite my little dear, lovely friend, the young, handsome Angelo Rizzi, to recite his second poem called The Dance.
Okay.
And here is Pramod Saxena welcoming all of us.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Pramod
Pramodji.
Saxena ji. You're always such an encouraging viewer. Appreciate that.
Yes.
Okay. The dance.
Hmm.
I feel a placid joint presence, something becoming in a short term, an event, and gold filaments in the order, no, and gold filaments lost in the infinity, in the order disorder of the planetary movements. I hear a muffled noise, wedded but intense. It seems as trees are dancing in the ideas woodland. I see hands shakings, some hugs, huddles, smiles, circles of people walking together to poetry.
What a beautiful imagery, Angelo. What a beautiful imagery.
Really,
I,
very
yeah,
nice.
yeah,
This evening is really turning out to be very beautiful with such wonderful poems.
very
And when the
true.
poems are wonderful, the poets are naturally wonderful.
Even more wonderful.
Yeah.
Angelo, such a beautiful. I will wait for a painting of yours based on this poem of yours with the woodland scene. That would be so amazing.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very
Thank
much.
you, Angelo. Okay. Once again, I would like to invite Kiran for his poem, The World is One.
Thank
Welcome,
you so
Kiran.
Thank you again for inviting me, Liv ma'am. I would like to say that this is an excerpt from that same thing that will come out next year, but the Chinese version. So originally I wrote some poems in Chinese that were set in a sort of Koan Confucianist dialect in which someone asks Kiran certain questions and then Kiran responds. So this one
Okay.
is a response to a question from a hotel worker.
Mhm.
A hotel worker asks Kiran, do you prefer to be in a more developed place or a more backwards place? Kiran responds, in some cities, people bathe naked on the streets under a supermall. In others, they live in two-story cottages, but still have no money to afford heating. Where I was born, people have more coins in their purse than friends to be called. Over here, people laugh over anything. One web catches many flies, the other is bereft of food, but in both places, spiders are living. I have been from New Zealand to Ecuador, seen tribal lands and skyscrapers, Tunda villages, lakeside houses. Land is land, people are people, the earth is one. How it looks in one corner or another makes no difference to me.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
wonderful, wonderful. That's so true, and I think it comes out from every poet's heart that the world is one.
You know,
Yes. Yes.
one can
So
hope.
true. The world is one. It's even getting closer every day. See how we are together on this platform from Italy, from Tunisia, from Joburg, from Pune, and Kingdom of Bahrain. The world is one here. Okay. Let me once again invite dear Antje for her second poem, which is titled Earthworms, the Social Dilemma. And I'm very curious to know how is this poem going to be recited and what has she got inside this? Very curious. Welcome, Antje.
Yeah, maybe I don't know if you saw this film on Netflix, social media, about the social media, which was called The Social Dilemma, which maybe you saw it, so you know what it is about. No, about this, how they in reality influence us and they have us in their hands, no, and
Yes,
especially in this period of COVID, using this social media so much, one has also to think what that means.
correct.
Earthworms, the social dilemma. No algorithmic machine controls those who work in the underground. Slowly, steadily, inside the earth, undervalued, with passages made of continuous excrement and boredom cancelled out by dopamine shots. Our brain, a kind of Olympus, infinite divinities in search of identity, vulnerability developed over millions of years, simply a predictive model. What you like, how much you like it, and what you will like, the earthworm already knows. Thank you.
Thank you, Ante. Very well said. We are so vulnerable to the social media at the moment, but then the plus point is we get to meet each other and we get to share our views as poets across the world. Beautiful. Thank you, Ante. I really
Thank
love the
you.
perspective you brought into. And it's time now to invite my dear friend Neelam to fill the void. That's her poem's title, The Void.
Thank you, dear Nivi. My poem, The Void. Though she covers her soul with lush green branches, blossoming flowers, and joyously dancing breeze, there's a deep hollow inside, about which only she is aware of. She did attempt to show that void to a few persons, disguised as well wishers, but rather than shortening its dimensions, they increased it further. Now, she hesitates fervently to show someone that deep hollow. I have watched her silently as she removes the branches blooming with those amazing golden libellary that hideously cover the soul, and walking down with the help of those uneven steps to reach the bottommost space of the void. She regards it as her mind space, sits silently, spreading the golden carpet, and meditates, closing her eyes. When she is meditating thus, her face is covered by an indigo aura which spreads peace not only to her but also everyone around. The other day, when I visited her, she smiled and asked, "You do know about that vacuum, don't you?" I was numbed and remained silent, knowing not what to reply. But she grinned and said, "I just desired to let you know that it's shrinking day by day, like chemotherapy reduces the tumors, and I'm sure it will get eliminated soon." I hugged her tight. I was again speechless, and I returned home wondering what she will do when that hollow does indeed vanish. Will she indeed find her inner peace? So that was my poem, The Void.
Beautiful, Neelam, as usual. Your poems are always very powerful, very thought provoking. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. And now, may I have the pleasure of inviting you for your second poem?
Yes, you may have the pleasure of inviting me to see
So
my
I
second
invite
poem.
you.
Thank you so much, my dear. So, I am, after so many beautiful, thought provoking, very pertinent poems, I'm just ending this show with a very light moment. And this poem of mine is called The Incomplete Story Called Life.
Yeah, I can
Neelam,
also hear some echoes. Can
yeah, that's what I
everybody
wanted to say.
mute?
Angelo and Neelam, could you like try and mute your mics for a while? Because I can hear some echo. Yeah. Am I audible, Neelam? Okay. The incomplete story called life. A fine morning, a new day, a new hope, a new sun ray. And in the mind matters, some thoughts do ponder. Things that need to be done. Time now to walk under the sun. A solo trip is still pending. One more phone call is waiting. A new dish to be tried. A few tears to be dried. 1,000 more thoughts to be expressed. 100 more words to be knitted. One more trip with the girl gang. One more date without a pang. Few weeks in a mountain chalet. A pen, a diary, music, and many cups of tea as my valet. This story is yet incomplete. It's time to keep the dust off my feet. Those are my wishes that I just shared with you. Thank you, Neelam.
Sorry. It was a wonderful poem, and what a way to end the show.
All right. So, Neelam, I will just share something that I saw, it is so beautiful, by Robert Frost. A poem begins as a lump in the throat, a sense of wrong, a homesickness. Kiran, this is for both of us. And a love sickness. I think all poets are somewhere hopelessly in love with something or the other. And that's why we turn poets. So, Neelam, I would like to request you to say a vote of thanks. And before you join the stage for your vote of thanks, I want to say that from the deepest corner of my heart, I said this is one session I have so deeply enjoyed. I think this is such an interesting group of poets all together. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you, dear Nivi. On this page, we began to have shows since the lockdown period started, because I
True.
think that was the time when we started connecting online more and more. And we started these poetry meets since more than a year ago. So we keep hosting the meets, some in Hindi, some in English. But and this is our 11th international English poetry meet. However,
Yes.
we've had many other English poetry meets too. And every meet has been very interesting with wonderful poets joining us. Today
True.
was another special such day, and I thank all the poets from all over the world: Ente, Angelo, Kiran. So we never know where Kiran is, like he's hopping from country to
One
country.
place to the
One
other.
day he's in Australia, another day in China, another day in South Africa. So hopping poet, I'll call him.
And 2 months,
So
I'm
and
going to be a
Nivedita from
Mumbaiker, so don't worry, it will be less complicated. I'll just be a Mumbaiker in 2 months. So
Oh,
oh wow! So
oh,
we'll
then
get
you
to
were
meet.
close to Neelam then, very soon.
Yeah, yeah. So
and
it
Antje and
has been
Angelo will
a
probably come too someday.
yeah, of course. We'll have some offline poetry meets too then.
Yes, definitely. Must.
So it has been a very interesting evening. Thanks for joining us, Ante. Thanks for joining us, Angelo. Thanks for joining us, Kiran. And Nivi is also an admin. So I shouldn't be thanking her as such,
No.
but I can always praise her for the marvelous moderation that she did today and kept us all connected. So thank you, dear Nivi. And thanks to all our viewers who joined us. Keep joining us, and we can promise very interesting poems. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Ante, Angelo, and Kiran, would you like to share a very short view of the poetry session? You are welcome to do that if you want. We have some time.
Thank you. I'll say thank you for that at least.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. And it's really highly interesting. I mean, we are really scattered over the world, and
Correct.
we talk about subjects that connect. So
Yes.
this is a great thing. And I mean, the world is becoming also a little bit smaller, although there are walls and borders, and I think it's a good way.
But we're trying to diminish them. We're trying to make them small. We're trying to make them irrelevant, basically.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's where the role of poetry and poets comes in. We
Yes.
try to shorten this gap, and sometimes we are called borderless poets because we
Yes.
don't have boundaries.
Yes.
So today we put the Amalgam. That's what we have to remember.
Yeah.
Both family. So we all
Angelo,
have to eat food. Yeah.
if you want, you're comfortable, you could say something in Italian and maybe Ante can translate for us. Go ahead, my friend. It's okay. You can say something in Italian and Ante will translate for us. Is that okay, Ante?
Yeah, io traduco. Se tu vuoi dire qualcosa di più complicato, te lo traduco in inglese. Se...
Parli con me, sì.
Sì.
No, mi è piaciuto molto questo incontro, molto con poche persone c'è una certa, diciamo, c'è una certa intensità, diciamo, c'è anche più emozione, meno attesa, così. E alcune Nivedita la conoscevo, Kiran non lo conosco, Neelam la conosco di nome, ho visto diversi video, te ti ho conosciuto adesso, quindi poi questi meeting allargano sempre più moltiplicano la conoscenza, moltiplicano i contatti, insomma.
Fammi tradurre, altrimenti mi dimentico. So he says that he really liked this meeting, especially because it's a small meeting, so you get more in touch with each other. It's more personal, and although he already knew the three of you somehow, but now he got to know me, and so new connections come out. So there will be other things next time, no? This is very interesting, yes.
Y es muy gracioso el nivel que entiendo usando mi español. Casi entendí todo.
Thank you. See, today has been a real international poetry meet where we have English and also Italian spoken on our stage, Neelam.
Yes, indeed,
Thank
indeed.
you,
It
Angelo.
has been
Thank you.
wonderful.
Yeah, Antje, thank you so much for translating, my friend. Appreciate that so much.
Yes.
Thank you.
No, I think this is also another aspect. All of us more or less speak 2 or 3 languages. So this is also enriching, and especially the poem from Kiran. I mean, we all have this experience now. Where is our place? I think our place in art and poetry.
Yes.
We belong to our work. That's
exactly.
it.
Exactly.
We belong to our duty to the human race, and that's enough.
True that. Yes. So true.
Yes.
So, Neelam, is it time to say Tata bye-bye in Arabic, as we say? It's a ma salama, Angelo.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Bye. Take care.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.